Oh, some shorts. Well, I was going to do it too, and I got up this morning, I ran around, and said, let's go to
Yeah, you probably have to pay.
Kirkland City Council with us today. Councilmember Jim Longer. Jim, you want to wave right back there? Councilmember Mary Alice Burley. Thank you, Mary Alice. Councilmember Tom Dillon. Councilmember Sands Contreras. And Councilmember Dave Asher. All right, well, Dave's over under the tree. Smart guy, over in the shade. Not able to be with us today is Deputy Mayor Joan McBride. She is in Minnesota delivering her daughter for her first day of college. So I guess that's an acceptable excuse. Also with us from the 45th District, State Representative Toby Nixon. Toby, welcome. Thank you. And I had understood that Senator Luke Esser was going to be with us, but he's, oh, there he is. I didn't see you come in, Luke. Thank you for being here, Senator Luke Esser from Jersey. Two other people that have had a lot to do with this effort I just want to also introduce, and that's City Manager Dave Ramsey. And our Park Board Chair, Bob Sternoff. Bob, I just saw you walking in, so I said this is one of those projects where you could probably start thanking people and never stop. I just want to make a couple of general comments. One, I want to especially thank the family that really started this whole project and made it possible. Several years ago, about 3 years ago now, a redevelopment site existed just behind the condominiums to your left, to your right, on a piece of property owned by Westwater Development and the Stabbert family. This building was going to be demolished to make way for that project. Don and Sherilyn Stabbert contacted the city and said, you know, we would be willing to donate this building to the city and an additional $25,000 contribution to help move it. So Don and Sherry Stabbert are enjoying their semi-retirement somewhere on their boat, somewhere in the world, so that's an excuse for not being here. However, to represent the family and for us to say a really big thank you is Brooke Stabbert. Brooke, would you stand and say hello? Without their effort, we would have never even begun this project. The other comment I wanted to make was to really, I think, commend and draw attention to the commitment that this community as a whole has made to this project. The council, it started with the Kirkland City Council, who controversially acted with uncharacteristic breakneck speed to approve this move. It was done literally within the course of about 2 weeks. That caused some consternation, but I think today is testament to the fact that we made a courageous decision, and my congratulations to the council for their willingness to step up and make that hard decision. After that, once this building was moved here, maybe Bob will allude to it later, but thousands and thousands of untold hours of community volunteer work has gone into preserving this building, and which will make it something this community is going to cherish for a long time. We were commenting in here earlier that next week alone, we have 10 community meetings already scheduled in this building, and it's going to be one of the most utilized, I think, in the community. So again, it's a great addition to downtown, it's a great addition to Kirkland, it's a great addition to the future of Waverly Park, and the Kirkland Historical Society deserves a particular thank you since they spearheaded this project, and so thanks to them. Let's give them a round of applause.
church. There's a plaque on the front wall. Commemorates the designation of the former First Church of Christ Zionist Kirkland as a Kirkland landmark. Over here. Kathy Smith. Where's Kathy? Kathy Smith is the Kirkland representative on the Landmark Commission. This was built in 1922. It moved to this site in 1999. In 1922, it represents this period of growth for the Christian Science Church. And it was also an era of the Burke and Farrar as developers of Kirkland. There were a lot of things happening at that time. In this period, there was building of bungalows, craftsman-style homes, arts and crafts movement, and an era of growth for Kirkland. Now, there's a bronze plaque on the concrete wall on the west side of the stairs, and it notes this day as a dedication of the Heritage Hall. And in many ways, this is very significant because it's a return of this building to its original use as a meeting hall. Now, Kirkland Heritage Society, we're still working to complete the Heritage Resource Center on the lower level. And people today, if you'd like, you can take a look at the work in progress. And Dave Cantrill, who is the Kirkland Heritage Society archivist, will be down there, and he'll explain the plan for all the spaces that we have that are going to be completed. Tom Hitzroth, right down here in the rear row. I want to thank you very much. Tom dedicated some of his funds to help put on this function. We appreciate that very much, Tom. Yeah. I want to thank Corinne Hive also. Heave, excuse me, for all the work of the Kirkland Women's Club on getting this day ready for the flag and the goodies that are being prepared for everybody later on. I also urge everybody to visit the Kirkland Heritage Society booth that will be at the, I keep wanting to call it the Taste of Kirkland, but it is Kirkland Carnival next weekend. We'll have quite a few pictures up that you can take a look at. There'll be also applications if you'd like for membership in the Kirkland Heritage Society. And we also have more of the pavers to sell. This is to complete the walkway all the way out to the corner. So thank you again very, very much. The Kirkland Heritage Society kind of welcomes you. This is your hall. Thanks again.
Next on the agenda to execute some more recognitions. Told you there were lots of thank yous to go along. Someone who clearly needs no introduction. I once tried to count up the number of times he's come to the city council meetings and blatantly tried to sell pavers at public open meetings, but I lost track. But without whose effort, I'm not sure we'd be standing here today. Bob Burke. Bob?
Truly is a glorious day in more ways than one. The weather and the excitement of all of you being here to help us celebrate. Do I need to get it higher? Yeah. I always have that problem. Better now? Can you hear me? Okay. If you can't hear me, you can't raise your hand anyway. So we have been very, very fortunate to have had wonderful community support. You look at the numbers of pavers, the dedications, the flagpole by the Women's Club, participation of the Scouts, and as well as a number of individuals. And I would like to have a couple recognitions right now, and then we'll move in people who have been working on the building. First of all, we have a new bench. Is that better? Thank you, Mark. Mark and I work well together. We have a new bench. We dedicated the Harris bench at Peter Clark's birthday, and today the in a very appropriate location. Martha Millar is dedicating a bench to her father, David Burr, and it looks right across where the telephone company was that he operated from the 1914 to the 40s. So Martha, if you would like to cut the ribbon and Martha has a plaque or a paver out in the, there you go, that's where you should be, for the Lake Washington Telephone and Telegraph Company in the walkway. Secondly, I was hoping we would have it done, but on the front of your program and in the invitations that were sent out, there was a representation of the sign above the columns here that says Heritage Hall. They're going to be cast bronze letters that are individually placed up there and should be quite handsome. We've tried to do everything on this building so that it'll be here at least for another 100 years. And so they're really nice. And a very generous gentleman by the name of Rick Sign has agreed to donate those as part of the contribution to the building. And Rick, right down there. While you're going down to see our booth next weekend, take a look back because hopefully the sign will be installed on next Thursday. There has been discussion about the buildings and stone pavers. I didn't know that was bad to try to sell them in a public meeting. There's a saying that's been going around that somebody told me that it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. So we were out here. There was a group of 4 people this morning, good volunteers, and the guy who installed them at 7 o'clock this morning, putting them in. So it wasn't last minute or anything. Again, too, all the community support has been incredible. Over 500, probably 50, 60 people have bought the pavers that are out here, firms and individuals. We have about more than 50 contributors who gave donations to the building, and virtually all from Kirkland, and the proceeds from that, which is probably over half of what we've raised, it must be at least $82,000, has all come from within the community, members of the society, members of the community, and people who purchased the pavers. We've gotten grants from King County, now Cultural Development Authority has been one of the major contributors, but it has primarily been done in the community. As Larry said, we've had incredible volunteers, and we have a great deal of fun. There's a whole series of pictures, and none of the people look too stressed. They look like they're having fun. There have also been a number of people, and there's a list in your program of all of the firms over the 4.5 years who have been involved. Harry Cummings at one time owned the building after it stopped being a church, and he was the original architect who did a feasibility study. He unfortunately cannot be here. I don't know if there's anybody, I think Tom Hammond's here. Engineer, is Doug Jameson here? Anybody from DCI? Or Harry Harper Construction? And Lindsay Moving and Rigging. We didn't experience the move. It was wild. But, yeah, we've got lots of pictures of that inside too. The architects for this section, which was just completed, are Page and Gary, who are down here. Premier Engineering, with structural engineering, key engineering, mechanical, and interface engineering on the electrical. General contractor was Moon Construction. Cliff Moon is here. Where are you, Cliff? Right in the back, looking up at the building. Ashford Electric worked on it. Airflow Mechanical. Paper preparation was done by Kennebar in Seattle. The site concrete work was done by Stapleton. And the paver installation, we have the young man from Precision Paving Stones here this morning. Ron Murphy was a historic preservation architect consultant. So there's been a lot of people involved, and I would like to thank all of their efforts on this project. Finally, I have to thank the city of Kirkland. We did sort of rush in there at the beginning, but we were able to convince them that this building was indeed historical, was significant for the whole east side of King County, was significant for the city. It's probably the oldest remaining church here. The time it was moved. And we convinced them that they should save it. I'm thankful that it was a different budget line, or it would have been a lot less likely, I can tell you. We've had 5 major decisions by City Council over the past 4.5 years, and all of those have been unanimous. There have been changes on council, but every one of them has been unanimous. And I think that shows the commitment that once we started the project that we've had from the city. We went through some lawsuits, the city did, fortunately the city. The Waverly Master Plan process, through the Clarkston Board and the Parks Department, resulted in the designation of this building for community use and for the Kirkland Heritage Society's Resource Center. And as Larry said, it would be virtually impossible to name all the people in the staff of the city who contributed to getting this project done. Planning, parks, building, fire, public works, everybody has been marvelous in getting it through. Sometimes frustrating, but we've gotten it all done. And I would like to just, on a real personal note, on this second phase where it really has been a cooperative effort between the city and the Kirkland Heritage Society. We both put money into the project. We hired the architects and we got the job done. And during that time, I've had the privilege of working with Mark Johnson. Where's Mark? And it has been truly a great working relationship with you and all of your staff. And so I can't thank the city and the community enough for all the support. And I think we've got one last ribbon to cut. And we've got a pretty good crowd. The building will only hold 60, but there's refreshments to the north. And you can also look at the resource center. Oh, we should note too that inside there's a new plaque here, and in that is where the time capsule is going to go. And the time capsule is inside, which was purchased by the Women's Club, and there's a display of some of the things that were going there. If you've got ideas, give them to us. There's plaids around to write what you think ought to be in it. So again, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob. We have now come to that moment when it's time to cut the ribbon. So what I'd like to do is invite all members of the Kirkland City Council to come on up here, please, and members of the Kirkland Heritage Society. You have the board of the Heritage Society. So if you're a board member of the Heritage Society and on the Kirkland City Council, please come on up. Okay, Bob, come on out here. Okay, everybody, if you can sort of squeeze in here so as many of us are right in the middle. And we're going to have Bob too. Bob, come on out here.
And not standing in front of the speaker.
Right here, and I think it's only appropriate that while we're all up here, you're going to cut that ribbon. So here you go. So, everybody you got to get the picture. It's a photo op that will only happen once. Up close, squeeze them in. Your pull tight. All right, Bob, let's open the doors. Thanks for coming, everybody, and please enjoy the rest of the afternoon and come on in and take a look.
Yeah, here.